Hi, I'm Nick,
I'm Lawrence.
and welcome to our show. On this episode, we're gonna scratch it up a little bit.
Well, I hope we don't have to scratch too much.
Okay.
I'm going to take care of our vlog.
Well, yeah, we'll try not to scratch it too bad, but just stay tuned and see what we do.
Yep.
So this episode, we got a little vinyl.
Yep.
We have a little vinyl fever. So.
And we promise it's not the vinyl on the floor.
Yeah, no, it's a different kind of vinyl. So we're going to talk about records this episode
Yep.
because, well, records actually were a big part of our childhood,
Yep.
and they've made quite a comeback.
Yep.
And probably, I've at least seen most new albums are put out with records
Yep.
and CDs and MP3s. But
Yeah, so like this one here that I brought, since Nick brought it up, this is a Beach Boy record that came with a CD. So
recently,
this is a recent one. So
okay, yeah, and they're made to look retro, but there's there's a whole record section now, so it's cool. Because honestly, I like the sound, and it just sounds very rich, and it's not digital, it's not altered. It's fun. So you brought a bunch of your records.
I brought a bunch of my records.
So what do you got?
So we're talking about records, and I was going to start with my childhood because for me, I started about 4 years old listening to records, and this would have been a record that I bought more recently. Actually, it was a Christmas present, and got this for my family, partly because I remember this record when I was 4. This is a disco Sesame Street Fever record.
Funny.
And so that was
Sesame Street Fever.
And so I remember listening to a lot of those when I was, 4 or 5. But I didn't start collecting as an adult until 2005. And my first record was this Canadian Mr. Rogers record from 1964.
Wow.
And so this was my first record that I ever bought as an adult off of eBay. It was like $5. And so really...
Why is it Canadian?
Because that's how he started his program. He didn't always start... Well, he started with the Children's Corner in Pittsburgh, but then they asked him to do a show in Canada before he did the National Neighborhood in Pittsburgh in '68.
Okay.
But this is...
That's before.
So I was looking for... At the time, I was looking for rare, hard-to-find records that predated some things.
Cool.
And then the other one I was going to talk about was... And the three that I was going to show was this one from 1958. Very first... Mr. Rogers' record. It doesn't look like it. It's called Around the Children's Corner, which was a show in Pittsburgh. And this is my oldest, as of to date, my oldest record that I have.
Wow.
So there's that, and then,
cool.
like I showed you before, I showed you the Beach Boys.
Yeah, I have a Beach Boys record.
And
Not
then,
a new one, but...
And of course, for Christmas, my family's always gotten me records. So here's a Disney record of Sleeping Beauty.
Okay, how cool.
And then one of the things I really like is that records always came with a book.
Yeah.
And so this one is this one is now by next year it'll be a 50-year-old book and record that Sesame Street did. Mm-hmm. And so it's got all the pages in there. It's kind of falling apart and stuff.
Yeah. It's a little old, 1970?
1970.
Wow.
But this will be in time for their 50th anniversary anyway.
In 2020?
And no,
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because next year's the 50th anniversary of Sesame Street, but it came at the end of its first season.
Okay.
So this was a record that I liked, which is a Christmas record, and I like one of the songs that's on here is a Fix-It song, and they're asking this song because his page just got shrunk, and they're like, "What will make this character eat the record?" So that's a favorite of mine, and then I've got and then I've got this one, which is a Mary Poppins record.
That's cool.
Thought I'd bring this out because Mary Poppins Returns is coming out.
Yeah. Did you get your tickets yet?
Not yet. I'm hoping to get them pretty soon.
Yeah, me too.
So
We'll definitely be seeing that.
It's coming out a little bit before Christmas. I think it was the 19th.
The 19th, yeah.
Coming out probably after we get done with this video, we'll probably go and see it or something.
Oh, definitely. We're looking forward to that one.
Yeah. And then I just brought a random one, and that was Tony Bennett. I liked Tony Bennett, kind of a great jazz singer.
Okay.
So
that's just... Tony Bennett's actually one of the old crooners that's still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got some good songs.
But yeah, I mean, that's just like a sample. I mean, I probably have tons more records than I was like, okay, we got a short time to do these videos, and I was like, okay, what do we bring? And I'm like, well, I'll just bring a sample of the things that I like: Disney, a couple of Sesame Streets.
Well, why don't you pull one out so we can see what a record looks like?
Okay, so we get a little extra time. Yep. So,
they all pretty much look the same.
They look the same.
They're black, and
this one's actually this one, the Beach Boy one, is actually colored.
Okay, let's see what it looks like.
This one. This is the newer one.
Cool.
So this is side one on this side and side two, but this was for a newer. At least I try to get that in.
Yeah.
We'll work on getting that in after. Like we said, we're not going to try to. But here, this one's. I'm going to be careful with this one because I got this so used. You can see how it's kind of falling apart. Here's the back and the front of this one. And here's the record and everything. So,
like we said earlier, it's made on vinyl, and each one of these lines is red. Well, they're grooves. They're grooves. And each one, needle goes across. And it goes on the track and everything. And because I'm trying to put a lot of these records on the CDs, but this one was a much older record. Yeah. So when you put it on the record player, a needle goes across the surface, and it's encoded pretty ingeniously. It's pretty cool how they put the music on the record, and it plays. Just the sound waves transfer to the speakers in the record player, and it plays the music. It's pretty impressive. We won't go into all the details because we don't really know them about the science behind it. But if you're ever interested in looking up records, take a look at it. I think Thomas Edison might have did like a phonograph, which was kind of like an early record from the late. So I think, from what I know, is records go back to the phonograph days, back to Thomas Edison, back in the 1800s. Wow. Roughly, and so that's... Yeah, I know there's some old records. But records went from the 1800s all the way up to the late 80s, and now it seems like in today's age, records are coming back. And you just have to make sure, and for the millennials out there watching, you got to make sure to take really good care of it, because you don't want to... They're not like CDs or digital downloads where you can... Well, even CDs can get scratched, but you really have to take really good care of the record, especially when you're putting... Well, it's not that they just scratch. They can't just... Well, it's the needle that you have to put on very carefully. Yeah. Well, and it's not just that they get scratched, it's that they get warped, too. Right. They're just plastic. And, you'll have those issues with CDs. CDs are very similar, but they're read by a laser. Right. And so these are fragile, but not too fragile. They're just cool. I have a few in my collection, just some older ones, some new ones. I find them at the thrift store, but I have Frank Sinatra and some other of those kind of like jazz. I think they're just fun to listen to on record. Right. But one thing about records is they're kind of like cassettes, where you get to the end and you have to flip it over because they only hold so many songs. They're obviously different in the way they hold the music, but I still like records because you have to be very interactive with them, and the sound, obviously you got like the little crackles and the pops and the snaps. They're kind of like the Rice Krispies of music. But so I like records. Lawrence obviously has a pretty cool collection. I mean, I probably have more than what I could show, but these were. Like when we started, these were the picks, because I had to have first child and then the oldest record, and those first two that we showed at the beginning of this are were the top three choices, because kind of gives a little bit of what I. I like your records; they're cool. Yeah. I have the Beach Boys one. I think I found it at their store. It's like greatest hits. Right. It's an older one. I've got one that's a live concert that wasn't in this collection, but... Oh, cool. So I was going to ask you, you obviously have a record player, right? Yes. Yep. Yeah. And so what kind of record player do you have? It's what is the brand? I don't... Well, not what brand, but... the record player that I have is a CD cassette,
and radio, so I can transfer the records and tapes to CD.
Okay,
and then
that's cool.
Quick little, sorry, because we got to wrap up, but I was thinking about a vintage record I got a few years back. It was a sequel to the Around the Children's Corner. I went looking on eBay and was one of those auction bids, and one thing led to another, and I'm like thinking, well, I'm not going to win it. It ended up being like over $1,000 and stuff. To the end of the story on that is that I get it as a Christmas present, and I realized that the bidder who paid like over $1,000 canceled, and I got it for the $500 or so that I paid. Oh,
nice.
So it was a real surprise for the Christmas present.
Yeah,
so you never know what you're going to get on eBay, but it's worth it to get things off of eBay, vintage records and stuff.
Yeah, well, obviously there's probably other than like record stores that specialize in some vintage records, eBay is the place to go to find some vintage records. So if you're looking for some, check out eBay. I don't recommend paying $500, but if the record's worth it, then I mean, and if you can afford it, if it's a collectible, definitely. But don't don't buy an expensive record if you have gas. If you don't have gas in your car, if you got bills to pay. So that's cool. That's a cool story. I don't know if I'd pay $500 for a record. I might. It depends. Because there's some records out there that I'd be interested in, like an original Chuck Berry.
Oh yeah. Or like me, Tony Bennett.
Or Tony Bennett. Well, I don't know if I'd pay that much for Tony Bennett, but.
Well, I mean, he's a very pop culture singer and artist, and he draws and sings. So.
Well, so we're getting close to our time here, so we're gonna say goodbye for now. But we wanna go
listen to some music, and we got some
of these in,
and then of course we got Christmas parties to go to and stuff. So
okay.
Well, or whatever we're doing, we got a busy schedule, and then we'll definitely see you when we get ready to do our Christmas part 2.
Yeah. So until next time, I'm Nick.
I'm Lawrence.
And we'll see you later.
Yep.